It's a pretty shitty place to grow up in. I mean, I guess not. Some people make it out and a lot of people don't. And a small percentage of the people, I guess, make it somewhere in life, education-wise or getting a career started.
Gerardo Boites grew up in East Palo Alto with a lifelong interest in the military. He saw the Marines as his way out of town and away from his parents.
Well, I didn't tell him until the day that the recruiter came to pick me up. We were pretty much in Sacramento for a little party, and I kept telling my parents, like, we have to go back to East Palo Alto because I'm getting picked up soon. They didn't believe me until I kept bothering them to come back. So when we got back, about like 10 minutes later, there was a knock on the door, and it was my recruiter.
It was at this very moment that Gerardo's dreams of becoming a U.S. Marine had become his reality and his parents' nightmare. He traveled around the country for training, first San Diego, then to Camp Pendleton, 29 Palms, and finally Camp Lejeune.
February 2009, they were asking for volunteers to go deploy to Afghanistan in May. I volunteered, and they gave me the go-ahead. And I left, I believe it was May 23rd, 22nd or 23rd of 2009.
The day of Gerardo's deployment, he recalls how he felt saying goodbye to his parents.
What got to me was the bus ride to the airfield to get on the plane, because obviously, you know, my parents were there, and I didn't know if that was going to be the last time I would ever see them again. It was probably one of the longest and most quietest bus ride I've ever been on, because I guess everyone was just thinking about it. They're going to see their families ever again.
Immediately after arriving in Afghanistan, he quickly realized it would only be a matter of time until he would face combat for the first time.
The first time I was in action out there, it gave me like a surreal feeling, because it all started off with an IED going off a bomb. Me not ever seeing combat or anything, I got stuck, and none of my training kicked in or anything until someone like was yelling at me, you know, telling me to get down, because following the explosion, they started shooting at us, and they grabbed me and pulled me down, and then I don't know, I just like kind of snapped out of it. To me, the combat at first, it was life-threatening, but at the same time, it got old real quick, because we were in so much combat that it was just became a habit to us. It was like second nature to us. More towards the middle of our deployment in July and August, it was mostly our hardest times. So it was when we were taking the most casualties.
After 6 months of combat, Gerardo was finally able to come home and finish up his time as a Marine. It was at this moment when he realized adjusting to civilian life was more challenging than he anticipated.
I wasn't able to sleep at all at nighttime, and I started getting a lot of dreams of me being back in Afghanistan and getting shot and pretty much dying. I went to the VA to see if I could get some treatment or see what's wrong with me, and apparently I got diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD is pretty much when you have flashbacks, you can't sleep at nighttime, you get horrible dreams. So that's why I was diagnosed. They try to put me on antidepressants and sleeping pills. I didn't take either one of them. I never believed in medicine. My cure was still, you know, drinking alcohol. The dreams, they feel really real. Even now, like I still have PTSD right now, and I'm still, you know, I walk the streets or I'm driving or I'm, you know, with fear that I'm just gonna die.
Gerardo received therapy for about a year to help him understand and cope with his PTSD.
Through therapy, it's all in the process. You're writing down an event that really stuck out to you that you have trouble dealing with on a daily basis. And for me, it was when we lost one of my friends. He got killed from an IED, from a bomb in the ground. It turned out to be that one of my biggest fears out there was IEDs, and that's why everywhere I walk, I'm always constantly just looking at the ground. I feel like it did help me out a bit. It also controlled my drinking, because I was also in alcohol abuse classes as well. It brought some kind of like a little bit of relief or some closure on why I'm acting the way I am.
From a young man who comes from a futureless town to a retired Marine, Gerardo has beat the odds. He is currently enrolled in college and has plans to pursue a career in law enforcement. And even though he continues to live life with the consequences of war, he has no regrets. He credits the Marines for turning him into the honest man he is today. But if you ask me, he's another one of America's heroes.